Pickaxe.
Carvana's so easy, just a click, and we've got ourselves a car. See?
So many cars. That's a click-tastic inventory.
And check out the financing options. Payments to fit our budget. I mean, that's...
Clickonomics 101.
Delivery to our door?
Just a hop, skip, and a click away.
And bought.
No better feeling than when everything just clicks. Buy your car today on Carvana. Delivery fees may apply.
Hello, listener. This is your podcast representative, Niall, and I'm here to let you know you've been chosen from the Citizen Registry to be a conscript for the next 2 weeks. How great! We've already claimed your loved ones. They're in a secure location. Don't you worry, and you'll get them back soon enough. If you do your job, of course. Anyway, here's a gun. Get to work. Welcome to a Session Zero, guys. We're going to be discussing a brand new game coming out. That game is called KRAVAT. And if you're confused by what I just said, don't worry, it'll all make sense soon. How are you doing, boys?
Ready to be forced into service, Captain.
Yep,
Excellent.
ready to do my civic duty.
Take a lot of drugs.
That's it in a nutshell. So we are going to be playing KRAVAT. It is an unsanctioned expansion reskin hack for Cyborg. For those who are not familiar with Cyborg, it is the cyberpunk futuristic version of Morkborg. For those who are unfamiliar with Morkborg, don't worry about it. It is basically a system that is super rules light, but super flavor heavy. I really like it because you could just jump into the action and get everything done and do everything easily, for yourself, for the players, skip the bullshit, get to the fun. And KRAVAT is no exception. So it is a game that is narrative heavy. It's a standalone TTRPG where you are basically thrust into 2 weeks of mandatory civil service in a faction-riddled analog metropolis called Town City. And we'll get a few things out of the way first. So basically, when you're conscripted, you are effectively a police officer for 2 weeks, and you kind of in this city, you have to do this. It's mandatory service, almost like jury duty, where instead of, being part of a jury, you are given kind of free reign in the city, loaded up with weapons and drugs, and essentially given immunity once you do enough of your job to gain enough credits to survive. Because of this, because of the intense themes of power, control, and coercion, us as players and as friends, we always like to do safety tools. But this game itself, the very first page, it says, hey, make sure you have safety tools, make sure you have safe words, X card, whatever works for you. And I think that is important always, but I think especially in a game where the themes and the topics it deals with, they could be heavy, So just want to start off by saying I appreciate that the makers of the game put that in the game, and I heartily recommend that anybody who plays it does so.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, especially with the current political climate and
What?
it's
What's happening?
I think it's important to a lot of people might sort of shy away from stuff like this because I understand that TTRPGs are escapism, and a lot of people would be like, I don't want to think about authoritarian private militaries scooping people off the streets. I want to be an elf being cute and farming or whatever. But I do think there's a place, especially for games, to hold a mirror up to society,
100%,
and to sort of critique it through satire and this sort of the way that Starship Troopers does with fascism and ultranationalism and stuff like that. I think it's a very great social commentary, and participating in it is a great way to resist it as well.
Yeah, 100%. And again, important now more than ever. So what I love about this game, and I've kind of wanted a game that does something like this for a while, because I've never played something like Eat the Reich, where it's 3 sessions. You know what I mean? It has a very finite kind of ending. Because you start a Pathfinder campaign, it could be 8 years, could be a one shot, whatever. And it's always up to you. But the fact that it is just this 2 week stretch, I find is just exciting because there is that deadline. And on top of that, it lends itself really well to pick up and play where you can do it in a session. You could do it in a couple of sessions. Yeah. But like these days, I know everybody listening probably deals with this as well. It's so hard to get people together for a game, especially if you're going to be like, hey, we're going to do a 28 session, Pathfinder campaign. But if you're like, hey, we're going to get together, maybe do a job or two. And like the way, which we'll get to later, the way like the weapons work and the way a lot of it works makes it really fun still. Like you don't have to wait to level up. You don't have to wait to like earn credits necessarily because spoiler, the weapons are just free. And I think that's really fucking, the important stuff. I think that's really fucking cool. But let's give you a little overview. So essentially you are requisitioned for 2 weeks of mandatory civil service. You have to undertake jobs for the government. In between those jobs, you have immunity. While you're acting out those jobs, you have your access to all the guns at City Hall, all the drugs you would like. And while you're undertaking this, don't worry. If you're feeling unmotivated, Town City has you covered because they have enacted the bonus incentive amendment. So early iterations of the civil service program were plagued by failure and a lack of motivation. Tasks were neglected. Many conscripts chose personal interests over civic duty. So in response, the founders passed the bonus incentive amendment, meaning they will take one loved one as collateral for every active conscript. If the assigned tasks are not completed, they will be executed. And this brand new program transformed the entire program, and success rates rose to 99.4%. Isn't that great?
Definitely not freaky deaky futuristic dystopian nonsense, that's for sure.
It's nice when a system builds in stakes.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't need to manufacture it. We don't need to be like ask the question and being like, well, would my character do this? It's like, yes, or there's no point in playing that character.
I also love that, like, in a similar way to like we've done GM panels, and it's like, oh, if someone's like, well, wait, why would my character be there? Like, they just want to do this. Like, great, that character can exist in this world, but they're not part of this table because if they don't want to go on the adventure we're doing, make a new character. So you can't even be like, oh, well, my character doesn't have a loved one, because in the rules it's written, if you don't have a loved one, they're like, well, you're banished. I love that.
Yeah, they literally just throw you out of the city and you're in exile and you're just like, great, you have if you don't have a connection or a loved one, you have no purpose in our society.
Yeah. And I find that very funny in terms of world building and in terms of actually like gameplay. It's a very easy, fun fix.
World building, I just thought of this now as we're talking about it, where it's like, it would be so nerve-wracking to make friends because like the second you became close with someone, you're like, fuck, I'm this dude's collateral now. God damn it.
But also nerve-wracking not to make friends. And
but also you do need to have collateral. Otherwise, it's like if I get called in and I don't have collateral, then I'm fucked.
Yeah. You ever get like a friendship breakup? That would be so much more devastating in this world where you're like, oh, fuck, I got to go to a yoga class or something, make a bud. So very simply, the duties of conscript are to essentially earn 1 full credit during your service. So certain jobs will give you different credits. So like very simple jobs might get like 0.1 of a credit. Very immediate, like high intensity, dangerous, like risking life and limb may get you a full credit in and of themselves. And then there's everything in between. You do have to return all materials at the end of service, and failure to return will result in immediate and unprejudiced termination of your collateral. But while you're a conscript, you can enter private property without warning or cause, requisition supplies, info, and anything else from any citizen of Town City, enact edicts, laws, probations, and any other form of legal actions with impunity, and benefit from immunity to criminal charges, lawsuits, and civic penalties while on active duty and forever after their service in regards to their actions during their service. Meaning, once you get your job done, you kind of have free reign. And I think it's fun that you do have this freedom, but you still got to work. And I think that's just a very fun kind of line to tread, to balance. And I think that's very fun. So we'll move into some of the specifics, some of the rules that like set the game apart. Before we go into factions, I will talk about some of the differences just in case people are familiar with Cyborg. So I mentioned it already. Town City is a analog city. So while this is futuristic, there is no net, there are no cybernetics. You communicate basically using, if anyone here has ever worked in the service industry, you're going to be traumatized. I assume Dane has the sound. Maybe Dane will even play the sound right now.
I do. I went and found, I haven't found a very high quality sound yet.
That almost makes it better.
like it's really tinny and like from the fucking like actual restaurants and stuff. But yeah, I'm looking for like a chip printer machine sound, and it sucks.
It's a chip printer. All right.
Yeah, because that's basically what you're going to have on your arm. So it's called the LCU, or the long wave comms unit. And it's like this wrist-worn, chunky, heat-activated paper printer. And every time I think of it, my skin crawls because I've worked in restaurants for way too long. So definitely more analog than you would expect from Cyberpunk, but it is technically in the same world. Nobody knows where Psy City is with regards to Town City. That's a secret. But you could always have people either visit or whatnot. But it's going to be very lo-fi, low-tech. But let's talk about the factions, because I think one of the most important things about Town City is the various factions that will both help and complicate your jobs as you navigate your way through them. What are your favorite factions, guys?
I got two. I was tied.
Okay.
I really like Blizzados.
Yeah, Blizzados.
It's so good. It's just like, imagine if McDonald's branched out into every aspect of customer service and then also took over public transportation.
And if Ronald McDonald was a founding member of the city.
Of the city, yes.
Yeah.
So essentially Blizzado is a legacy tavern owner of where this city started. And it just branched out. So it's fine dining restaurants, burger joints, supply, like it's just kind of everything. Like everything is Blizzados. It's kind of like the Walmart of the world. But the thing I really like is public transportation are essentially like party bikes. So if you've ever been to I find that like every European city we went to had these things. And it's like the self-pedaling where it's like you and like 6 friends sitting at a table and you guys are pedaling and you're drinking beer and whatever. Like that's the bus in Town City. Is there's like the large ones, and then there's like single seaters. There's one that's up to 12 people, I think, and then one that are for 2 people. But every bus, or like every one of these, what are they called? They're
the JTS. So the
Jovial Transportation Service. It's so fucking good. And so there's a driver, but then there's also a line cook on every one of these who you can order food off of.
Incredible.
Yeah. Just
you have to eat every day or there's negatives like in gameplays.
I do actually. That's one of my favorite things about is that these communal party bikes are the main form of transport. And I love that. And I cannot
Because it makes me laugh because like, the setting is so grim that like calling something jovial immediately makes me think that no one is having a good time on these things. You know what I mean? Like imagine if like after a 12-hour shift at work, you then had to get on a fucking bike and pedal with 12 strangers to get home.
And like the ones who are drinking the ones who are drinking probably aren't making it any better, and the ones who aren't drinking are probably miserable. So it's just like
What are you doing? Come party with us. I'm getting married.
My second favorite, and this was, I struggled with making a character based on this because I
almost did too, but it seemed too Ryan. So
the Church of Magnan.
Yeah. So I pivoted.
So the Church of Magnan is, I guess, the main religion in Town City. It's like this fringe sort of like pseudoscience by a dude who claimed he went to space and found like the secrets of universe, and it's all based on the lines of like electromagnetic energy that reveal the secrets of the universe. It kind of reminds me of the pattern from
Morksol,
but like bullshit.
I'm gonna say Fringe. I was like, is this some Fringe references right now?
So it's these people who claim to see sort of like the truth in the magnetic lines of the world. I just think that's really interesting because like you can find lines anywhere, right? Like the architecture, the streets, a map, like it is very, like I understand why people would buy into this, because you could easily be like, well, look at the streets, look at the map grids, like the lines are everywhere, and you could find like with enough lines, you can really spell out anything
that's
as
deep.
well.
That's actually one of their it's one of their core tenets.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting take on religion, and it's a very interesting take on like a pseudoscience living prophet kind of thing, because it was just a guy who came up with it. It was like just a normal man who claimed to went into space and saw the truth.
I also do love that he wrote this book. It kind of gives me like Scientology, where like,
yeah,
you know, it's maybe even fiction, who knows? But like, you know, people are like, no, it's real. What about yourself, Ryan?
In Town City, kids don't do drugs. They make them at the YCC. It's the Youth Chamber of Commerce. So it's a group in Town City where all the bright young minds get together and they sort of learn how to do business and stuff, and like challenge each other and sharpen your minds. But you can only be a member up until you're 14 years old. So one of the most brilliant groups in the city is literally run by children.
Yeah.
And they are in control of like 95% of the drug production facilities in Town City.
Yeah,
So if
you have until you're 14 as a member of the Young Chamber of Commerce to basically become a successful businessman, or else you're sent to their like drug making manufactories.
Yeah. So I thought that was fucked and fun.
I will say, I guess now is probably the time for a content warning. If things go afoul and they end up fighting the Youth Chamber of Commerce, they will be.
I might shoot a child.
Children. Yeah. So just a heads up.
I mean, I think just blanket statement now, I think this episode could be quite challenging in terms of both like abuse of power, violence, like
drugs.
We will do our best to like put all the content warnings on it. Just don't be surprised if it's pretty long. Anyway, shooting kids. What do you got, Niall? What's your favorite?
Honestly, I find it really hard to pick. I think the YCC was maybe at my top, but like they're all so good. So I'm going to just do a brief dip into a few. So there's the Civil Service Bureau, who are kind of like the administration level of the government, mainly related to people who have like kind of aged out of of like being able to do the civil service and now trade into being Civil Service Bureau to like do prolonged service. And they're basically just like really old people doing like rubber stamping civic duties and making sure tasks are accomplished. And then they have a network of elderly spies all around the city ready to provide gossip. And I just love the idea of just old people get so old, you got to go be administration and also just like gossip spy networks of old ladies and old men. And that's great to me. There's also the Civic Medical Corps, and they basically have to swear fealty to the Civic Medical Corps before their patient's well-being. And it's all about it's basically just big medicine, big pharma. They have to make profit, and they have to make profit over healing people. And then there's the Landlords Guild, pretty self-explanatory, very fun. And then I think one that really calls to me are the UN Countables and the Delegation of Delegates. So the UN Countables are like the vanguard of counterculture, who perform like living art all over the city to provoke or inspire, but like they do it in carefully staged bursts of spontaneity. So it's like very controlled dissent. Yeah, it kind of like seems ineffective to be so controlled, but then also be like, we're dissenting, which is pretty much the same thing for the Delegation of Delegates, one of the oldest and most recognizable revolutionary groups. Longevity mostly due to the fact that they discuss and philosophize rather than act. So they preach classless utopia and collective action, but most of their time is spent holding closed-door assemblies, arguing over the proper definitions of revolution. So let's get into a few of the other rules. If you're familiar with how any kind of like Mork game goes, there's usually a thing called like omens or whatever else you might call it in a different game, which are essentially a resource that you can spend to get benefits. So in KRAVAT, instead of having omens that you can spend, you actually have contacts, which I love because it actually kind of helps to, one, tie you into various different factions, but also just like makes the world deeper. It makes your character more ingrained. So instead of just like, oh, magically I spend an omen and I get maximum damage with an attack, you could be like, oh, I have a contact with the YCC and like this small child walking by, grabs his leg really quickly so I get to shank him or something. So I love the fact that you're building these connections with different factions and then you're spending them. And it, again, ingrains you really firmly like into the world. So very quickly, what you can do with those are deal maximum damage with an attack, reroll one of your dice rolls, lower damage dealt to you by a d6, neutralize a fumble, lower a test by 4, or you can get an LCU message for extra information. That last one is definitely unique to this game. And I just think, again, it gives you a lot of options for trading in your contacts, and that's super fun. Combat's also a little bit changed.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of twist around the action economy a little bit, whereas it's still the same sort of situation where players are rolling for everything. Essentially, they're rolling their attack and their defense. At no point in time is now going to be rolling attacks against us. It's sort of like all us defending against things and attacking against things. The nice thing is, as long as you have the hands to do it, you can melee and range, so you can essentially take 2 attacks per turn, which makes you very formidable. I think it makes you very dangerous, especially if you build into certain different things and pairing with your abilities with your class. It kind of opens up to a lot more brutal and flash in the pan combat, like a lot of like, oh shit, like this is how violence really is. Like it's very sudden and very, very immediate. And I think it's also going to be like, we're not going to be trading blows as much, I think, as a lot of games. And I think that's good in this scenario because it's going to feel more dangerous. It's always kind of weird when you get in a gunfight with someone. You're like, I shoot you, and then I shoot you, and then I shoot you. I think like it'll probably be like if we roll well enough, like we could probably take out most people like with 2 attacks.
Very possible, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's neat.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. I also do love that, like you mentioned, having the free hand. So it's like you have to choose. And I think this is a way to make it less like unbalanced because, again, everything's kind of free, right? So instead of just being like, yeah, I picked the best gun, it's like, well, the best gun might be 2-handed. So, yeah, you're able to do bigger damage, but the trade-off being you're not going to get those 2 attacks, right? So like you might get this one melee weapon that's really strong, or you could have one lighter melee weapon and a gun. And it's like that versatility and having to make that like pro and con choice, I think makes it very interesting for the game. You know what I mean? I love those kind of like trade-offs. On top of that, there are some optional rules, which I think not only are we going to go through just to talk about them, but we're going to go through to see if we want to pick any for when we play.
Yeah, so they're essentially sort of ways to make combat a little bit more dynamic. So the optional rules are cover, which is essentially you choose, if I'm near a box or a wall, I can take cover and it'll grant me bonuses to my defense or penalties to my attack, essentially. When cover is hit, it's then destroyed or it like moves down. So if heavy cover becomes light cover becomes destroyed. Aiming means you spend sort of like a little extra turn. You delay your attack to be a little bit more precise and a little bit more effective in terms of damage. Range is the one I don't think we need to opt.
No, it basically just like alternates or like a little change in how you designate range and like whether there are bonuses or negatives for where you are in range, like auto fire dealing more damage if you're close and less damage if you're further away.
Hits always hurt, which is the way, again, a lot of Morkborgs have the ability to reduce damage with
that's
armor.
how armor works. Like it doesn't make you harder to hit. It just makes you get to negate hits by X amount. I think we should do that one.
Really? Okay, interesting. I was thinking because we have a limited time with these characters, giving them a little more survivability would...
Yes, my only thing is like I find it's not fun, even like playing in general. Like you can almost fall into a trek of like you hit them but they negate it, and then they hit you but you negate it, and it's like it can get that way. So I was thinking we either do that one, and also it's like you can take a breather, so you can regain health like pretty quickly between combats. I was thinking either we do that for enemies, where like enemies always take at least one hit. Or after a certain amount of rounds, like after 2 rounds, it becomes that way. You know what I mean? Just so it's not always getting negated. I just don't like when people do 0 damage. Yeah. And I think if a combat gets bogged down in that way, which it may not, given the fact that you'll be taking 2 attacks. What do you guys think?
I'll do whatever.
Very helpful.
Yeah,
that's me, baby.
I'm fine with doing it.
Sure. All right, hits always hurt. And realistically, the only difference it's going to make is if you negate damage, you'll take 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not going to make it too crazy in terms of survivability.
Then we got suppressing fire, which is a way to you just automatically spend a whole mag to suppress targets. For us, it means we either have to get out of the way or we stand our ground and take the hit at a higher difficulty check. And then it's easier to hit and hurt people who are suppressed. And then same where enemies get 1 melee and 1 ranged attack per round as well. I hate that. I don't want to do that.
No, that one's no go, veto.
Are you sure?
Yep.
All right. So I think we'll put in Hits Always Hurt. I don't know if any of the other ones call to you. I think they're really good for home games. I don't know how much in an actual play.
It's nice to have the
want.
options provided by the people who make the rules of just like some variants, like stuff that maybe didn't make the final cut, but like could be fun with the like right group. It's just like optional stuff.
I
think the only other one I would like to add is cover fire.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do cover.
That's a little. Yeah, I think it's a little more dynamic and makes you want to move around as opposed to like the standard like I stand and swing, I stand and shoot. I think if we use the environment a little bit more. Cool.
I also like that cover degrades, so it's not like because you're behind someone, you're just going to stay there for the whole turn.
My wooden box can take all these bullets. Don't you worry.
Exactly. All right, cool. So we'll implement the cover and we'll implement Hits Always Hurt. So I will talk about another super fun thing I like about the weaponry and like how it's done is there's basically like a max damage mechanic where if you roll max damage with a weapon, you get like an additional like bonus. So for example, if you have the wooden bat with barbed wire and you roll a 6 on your D6, your target bleeds for 1 additional damage at the start of every turn until bandaged. Or if you have an axe and you roll max damage, they have to do a toughness test or lose a limb. And I just find that so fun. It's like a nice little twist to give every weapon like a little bit of personality. Again, you know, because I could get a bat or an axe. They both do D6 maybe. And it's like, okay, it's just flavor at that point, I guess. Whereas if one will chop off a limb, another one might make you bleed. Like those are things I can take into consideration. And when I hit that max damage, it feels good. So I think that's super fun. And I'm actually very excited to see what weapons you guys take. Has anything stood out weapon-wise for you at all? Or are you still thinking about that?
Yeah, no, I picked my weapons.
Cool.
I'm still thinking, but I have some ideas.
You want to tell me what they are?
It's like an axe and a sawed-off shotgun.
Hell yeah. I love it.
I was looking at a sniper rifle or a rocket launcher.
I knew you fucking would be. Not the personal trebuchet?
The personal trebuchet is really cool, but Ryan makes things go boom sometimes.
That's fair. I mentioned the rest mechanic. Do you want to bring us through it real quick, Dane?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a similar to the idea of like something like a short rest in other RPGs. So you can take a breather. That's just like you just take a second, take a papa squat, rest. You get a D4 HP, and then if you eat, you get D6. And if you don't eat or drink during the day, you lose HP and everything is more difficult.
There's also, I mentioned earlier, losing a limb. There's a really handy like limb table. You roll a d20 and it tells you what you lose. And I'm really hoping I get to roll that on you guys, or that you guys get to roll on the enemies. Because
more likely.
Yeah. And then we got ammo mods.
Yeah. So especially as we get into my class, it makes sense that I'm talking about ammo mods. You can buy fun bullets. That's the simplest way to put it. You can buy fun bullets. So it's just ways for you to spend monies at like sort of a tinker shops that are throughout the city. So you can sort of turn your bullets. Each bullet has its own cost associated with it. But some examples are like Fireball deals D3 extra damage, D8 extra damage on a crit. You can make them sick. You can ignore armor with the full metal jacket. There's a Needler one that like plants a tracker in people or a dose of poison, which I think would be great for cops who are tracking people down. TNT. There's a ping pong one, which if we're doing cover, sounds like a lot of fun. You can bounce around corners and cover.
Nice.
And then there's like my favorite, which is the warm auger, which just like makes it easier to fight living targets, which means there are not living targets that exist in this world, which is terrifying to me. But yeah, so that's big fun. So once again, there's a lot of variety in the weapons and the ammo. Like you can just sort of have so much fun if you want to spend the money. And when we get to my class, it's cheaper for me and for us. So it's just cool. I just think it's an extra touch. And this sort of like, this game really gives me Judge Dredd vibes, like the movie from the, mid 2010s, that adaptation of Judge Dredd. So it's like, he had a cool gun and it was like dystopian, but like wasn't too futuristic and like grimy and shooting around corners and like high lethality. So it really gives me those vibes. So I'm jazzed for it. Yeah, ammo mods. I'll have a bunch. That's where all my money's going.
Yeah. And finally, on top of getting access to guns, you get access to all the drugs you could want.
There's a lot of drugs. I'm not going to name them all, but I'll name some. Alcohol or alcohol. MDMA, cocaine, Adderall, steroids. Don't worry, we have PCP, LSD, meth, ketamine, Speed. Bath salts, baby.
Bath salts is my favorite because if you fail your roll on it, you do have to bite the nearest person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
There will be a content warning about drugs on the episode.
Yeah.
Because you're encouraged. You get like a daily allotment every day, and they're all beneficial to help you in combat, more
That's
or less.
the thing. So like usually you would have like your spell usage per day. Instead, there's daily drug usage in this game, and that makes me very happy. But there's always kind of like a cost and like benefit.
Yeah, there's always a negative. Drugs aren't good, kids. For example, Adderall. For the next 4 hours, you get a +2 to your smarts, and you cannot be surprised to become lost. But you have a -1 to presence until you sleep it off. Steroids
Amazing.
is similar. And then you get the fun stuff like Dave mentioned about bath salts. There's some more intense stuff that have higher costs. So like the higher benefit of your drug usage, the cost, and they do stack. So you can pop yourself full. You can blow your drug load at the same time to your own risk.
Very fun.
It's fun. Once again, drugs are bad for you, but we're gonna take a lot of them.
I'm going to cut that with no context.
Just put it all over the internet.
Yeah.
We're going to take a lot of drugs. It's a fun like twist on the Mork side of it, right? It makes sense to the world they've created. Yeah, I get to say on our show that I'm going to take a bunch of cocaine, and that's cool and fun. And I can finally get my hands on Adderall in this society. Their world is better than ours.
All right, let's delve into your characters. Ryan, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I'm building a fixer. So if you go through like sort of the classes in KRAVAT, did we even mention why it's called KRAVAT this whole time? We didn't even talk about the
No,
KRAVAT.
I totally did not do that. So I will do that. I was leaving the most important things till the end. So basically the cravat is like this red cravat that you get to wear as like, it's the symbol of your office when you're a conscript. So you'll be able to know like if there's a bunch of people with the red cravats on knocking at your door, that's probably bad.
That's probably bad. Anyway, so there's a bunch of different classes. Like sort of any Mork game, they're sort of full of flavor and pretty simple, which is nice. And there's a couple of things that you roll based on class to sort of just give you abilities. So I went with the fixer. So I don't think we even talked about the 5 stats in this game, but it's pretty straightforward. Agility, presence, strength, toughness, and smarts. So pretty classic for any Mork game. So as a fixer, I get a +1 to smarts, +1 to toughness, +1 to presence, -1 to strength. I get a D4 contacts, and I get HP, and I get money. And it's sort of described as, if it's broken, you can fix it. Fuck anyone that tells you otherwise. Trade, repairs, and a DIY mentality is the only way you know to survive Town City. You don't rely on luck, you build your own. So I get a personal vehicle.
Amazing. What'd you get?
I got a flying drone. So I thought something we could actually drive around in would be good, but fuck that noise. I've got a drone.
Well, what I love is now you guys got to take JTS. I was kind of worried when you said you got Fixer because I was like, fuck, if you have a car, there's not going to be JTS, but no.
Yeah, no, we're going to have to take JTS or spend money to rent something, but I think it's just JTS. And then my shop specialty is ammo mods, so that sort of fit the thing.
Damn, nice.
And my main ability is with a bit of time, you can turn scrap into a functional single-use weapon or trap. You can repair almost anything with a test of any skill the GM thinks fits best. And then I can offer all services associated with a fix-it shop at half price if I have access to a shop. So I can like buy bullets for cheap and stuff like that.
All right, amazing. Do you have a name?
No, I'll come up with that. His name is Claude.
Claude. Love it.
Claude Destine.
Okay. And Dane, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing a bouncer. I feel like I haven't gone like big broody boy yet in anything that I've done. So the bouncer is, some people just need gentle suggestion in the form of a fist. Loyal to your own twisted sense of justice, your code is as rigid as your neck muscles. You've bounced people out of bars, events, and occasionally life itself. The code is simple. You've got to be on the list. I used to be a bouncer for a CMC clinic.
Okay.
And they're, as you imagine, lots of strength, no smarts. And once a fight, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon, you can force them to make a strength test or be incapacitated. So I could just KO people.
Amazing. What's your name?
Sick.
Marco.
Marco. Excellent. All right. So we're going to leave. We left some of the fun stuff to roll in the episode, which is basically your focus. So roll me a d20, each of you. And if you get the same one, we'll make you reroll just because
I got an 18.
All right, so
I got
your
a-
focus is on oblivion.
I got a 15. Mine's on
Your focus is
mastery.
on mastery. Okay, give me another one.
I got a 17.
Got a
So
9.
Dane's quirk is anxious in tight places. Your quirk, Ryan, is you call everyone Camacho.
What is a Camacho?
Who knows? I believe it's like
right.
Buddy or something in.
All right, Camacho. And our obsession?
Yeah, obsession, D100.
I got an 89.
89. You're obsessed with survivalist techniques.
That checks out.
I
Yeah,
got a
fair.
40. I'm obsessed with writing?
Okay. I won't make you roll for your names because you already got them. Everyone roll me a D.
It's a 6.
Okay, you have an old motorcycle.
Damn it, I also got a 6.
Well, re-roll then. He said it
Damn it, we
first.
can't be motorcycle gang?
Nope.
Oh,
I got a 7.
You got a pimped out stolen GTS party bike.
that's
Fuck yeah.
incredible.
God damn
That's,
it.
that's
give me-
incredible.
D12 each.
I got a 2.
You have a micro soldering torch with D4 plus 1 uses.
I got a 7.
You have 3 bandages that heals D2 HP each. And then both roll me a D66. So a 6 will be the first digit and the 6 will be the next digit. Like a D6.
I have a ticket for a reservation for 2 at Hey-O.
Hell yeah.
Shit, I got 66.
Oh, you got 66 monies. It's pretty good. Roll me a D10, and this will give you your faction affinity. No one survives Town City by being neutral. Pick the devils you know best.
D10, eh?
I got a 7.
Okay? Blazados, Dane?
Yes.
I got a 4. The Landlords Guild.
Landlords Guild. Okay. Roll me a D8 for your collateral.
I got a 4.
4. Okay? They've taken an old friend.
I got a 1. My mom.
They took your
Dad.
mom.
Damn, that sucks.
Now, there is a roll for how you feel about getting drafted. I don't know if you guys want to roll that.
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay.
I'll help
we'll roll
inform my
everything.
Roll me a
character.
D6.
I don't want to make any decisions.
I got a 4.
You are indifferent.
I got a 5.
You're terrified. You feel fear. I feel like that checks out. All right, so we have our characters. We have everything built. I think my final question is, during your service, what is it that you hope to achieve? Do you have any ulterior motives?
Yeah. They're like working in or like being a bouncer at the CMC. There were a couple repeat offenders of like spousal abuse. And like I'd watch these assholes walk their wives in and pay their credits and walk them out. I would like to, should I have some time, make some visits to these guys' homes.
Okay. How about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a failed member of the YCC from when I was a youth. And when my mom was conscripted, she used her power to free me from their drug plant. So now I want to go back with my time and free some more kids from the corrupt 14-year-olds.
Hell yeah.
And I want to shoot a kid on No Quest for the Wicked content.
Well, it's not like we haven't done it season 1.
Did we shoot a kid season 1? We
Terry
did.
shot a lot of kids, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Terry shot
several,
a
yeah.
lot of kids.
All right. Well, soon someone will be knocking at your door. Soon, Claude, someone will be taking your mother. And soon,
My mom.
Marco, someone will be taking an old friend. And you will have a cravat wrapped. Wait. Are we banishing you?
I mean,
mad
I
it.
guess I'm indifferent to the service, not my
Yeah, you can't
collateral.
be indifferent to your collateral. One more of
I
those,
gotta
you're
save
getting
my
banished.
mom.
Oh no, my old friend.
One more of those, you're getting banished, Dane. And you will have a cravat wrapped around your neck, all the firearms and drugs you could want, and you will have to complete your service.
Stay tuned, Camachos.
Hi, I'm Simon.
I'm G.
And I'm Boof.
Have you heard about Pickaxe's hit new old movie podcast, Yomp?
We each have a list of 6 films we want to share.
Every week, we roll a dice to randomly pick which one we watch and discuss.
MC Bunkerwelt says, this trio is perfect for a movie podcast. G is the casual that has the mainstream movies, Simon is the nerd that is bringing the gems, and Boof is the cellar goblin that scrapes the bottom of the diaper.
Messiah Jones says, such a fan of this podcast. I love the variety and all three have pretty good chemistry. G is far too confident in her own intelligence sometimes, and Simon can be a real curmudgeon. But the three work together well enough to keep the flow and make a good product.
Serenity Indeed says, love this podcast so far, but the audio is all over the place. Goes from quiet at the start of a sentence to loud in the middle. Every time somebody stops talking for even half a second, their audio goes quiet and has to ramp up again. It's very distracting. Edit. This audio issue was with my laptop.
Find Yomp on all your favourite podcast platforms. Yomp!